Call our meeting to order. And the first thing we have on the agenda is introductions. So I guess, do you want to start with Mary?
Sure. I'm Mary Kay Truckenmiller, and this is my second year on the board. So, welcome to the new members.
My name is Ferit Karakaya. I've been here about 9 years. Me and my family moved here about 9 years ago, and I'm just glad to be here. It's great.
And I'm Steve Kowaller. This is my sixth and last year on CODA. I've been in Ames for 36 years, which is more than half a lifetime.
My name is Kristen Oldrobny. I've been in Ames 4 years. This is my third year on the board. So welcome.
So I'm Nick Bolver. It's my first year on CODA, and I have been in Ames for 8 years, also a school year.
Okay.
And I'm Jeremy Neefus. Usually this would be Brian Phillips' spot, but I am just here filling in for him as he had a conflict.
Moving forward, we need to pick our CODA chair for the 25-26 fiscal year. So anybody interested in taking that position or nominations?
I nominate Krista.
I second the nomination.
I will accept. I think we have to vote on that?
Yes.
Okay,
Suppose so.
so
You have to leave the room first.
motion to approve in a second I heard. So all those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
those opposed? I didn't vote because.
You were outvoted.
Yeah. And then moving forward, we have a couple members from the public. Does anybody have anything they wanted to say?
I have a few questions. I'm Carol Gilson. I am the this year's president of the Ames Choral Society.
Oh,
And we have a brand new board, and so we have questions about what types of things we might apply for with the fall or spring CODA grant. And I don't know if you want me to go over those now or wait till later.
As far as like the spring special projects or just
Yes,
CODA in
it's-
general?
Today it's the fall special projects, right?
It says spring on our.
Spring.
Mine says fall.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
fall. Sorry, it does say fall. You're correct. My
Yeah.
bad. I was reading.
I'll be
it
giving a
backwards.
presentation in a couple of minutes
okay.
that goes over those details.
yeah, for fall.
Yeah, it does say fall. Okay. We had another person walk in. Did you have anything you wanted for open forum for the public?
Before we go on, you do know about the annual grant process? Okay.
Okay.
Just want to make sure, because you're new.
Then we have approval of the February 3rd meeting minutes. Did anybody get a chance to look at those?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can I get a motion to approve
Motion to approve.
and second?
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor of approving? Aye.
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 Hi.
Anybody in disagreement? Okay, so minutes will be approved as they stand. And now we move into the fall 25 special projects grant workshop.
All right, good evening. This is the first of our two special project grant cycles. We have the fall cycle and the spring cycle. So we'll go ahead and go through some of the details about how this is going to work. This is for special opportunities and circumstances that couldn't have been anticipated when you were applying for the annual grant process. You don't have to have an annual grant to apply for these, but it's for things that wouldn't have come up otherwise. And it's important to note that if you applied for a specific program in the annual grant and you were denied funding for that, you can't just reapply for it here, copy paste. It would have to be significantly different from the original proposal. Our timeline here, we have, this is funding for projects that occur between July and December of 2025. So that's this fall. Today, this date of the workshop, April 7th. So in 11 days, the applications are due. And then our next meeting in May is when we'll have the hearings. And so representatives from each of the organizations that submits an application will come in and make their very brief case for the funding and answer any questions from the commissioners. And then in June, our June meeting, that's when the recommendations, the funding will be voted on and allocated. And then the final reports have to come in by January 26th of 2026. So that's our timeline there. Any organization that is not for profit and is not a government organization is eligible to apply. So that's to clarify, you don't have to be a registered nonprofit to apply. You just can't be for profit or government based. Organizations have to be located in Ames and have written into their bylaws or guiding documents some kind of specific reference to arts goals. So if your organization doesn't have anything about the arts built in to its guiding force, we won't be able to fund you. As with all of our contracts in the city, we don't allow discrimination against any protected classes. And we ask that in whatever materials that you're putting out about the events that we fund, you include some kind of recognition of the funding coming from CODA. So we have that statement provided that you can include. As far as criteria for the funding, it's important that your application demonstrates the need for financial support. We like to see that you're trying to earn income in different ways, not being totally reliant on city funding. We want to see at least 25% of the funding coming from other sources. And it's important just to see in the application, who is being served by the programming and how. So what exactly is the money going to? We want to see that clearly. We do have this kind of long laundry list of things that are ineligible for funding, so I'll run through that briefly. If you're doing capital improvements, like remodeling a facility, we can't really fund that. Purchasing permanent supplies, tuition, wages for staff, out-of-state travel, paying for debt, hospitality expenses, or things that are not within the granting period, right? So this is fall special project grants. If you have something that's coming up next spring, you would have to wait and apply for that with the spring special project grants. So you'll be able to find the application form on our website. I think most of the organizations that have done this before know where to look. We can help you find it. The application has to be signed by someone who is authorized to do so. And if you want to include extra supporting materials, you can. You don't have to. We tried to design the application to include everything that you need to tell us. And so we really strongly encourage people to attend this workshop, or if they can't make it, to watch it online after the fact. You absolutely do have to attend the hearings, the next meeting in May, if you're going to be able to get funding. And so you submit applications and final reports to the city manager's office. So, that's just down the hall. We have the address there. You can also email them to the CODA email address, coda@cityofames.org. So that's Brian's contact information, which incidentally, both of those methods will also get you to me. So I'll probably be the first line getting you connected if you have questions. But are there any questions from the audience or from our CODA members about this?
Again, I do have some specific questions related to our organization. So it's the Ames Choral Society. And we hold at least 3 concerts a year. And then usually at one of those concerts, we might hire outside musicians. So it could be college students, it could be local, a violinist, or like the concert coming up, we have a melodica player coming. So they were almost like a contract musician. Is that something we could apply for a special projects grant for?
Yes, if it was not already, if you don't already have funding for that concert in your annual grant.
Right.
So in your case, we'd have to look back at that. I can get your information after the meeting and we can look at that.
Okay,
So maybe.
maybe, okay.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look back, yes, at what I wrote in the summer if I talked about special outside musicians.
Right.
Okay,
Or if this concert that the outside musician is for already had funding through that, then it wouldn't be eligible because you've already got funding for that.
for that
event.
concert, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. What about, we are thinking about doing some live streaming. What about live streaming equipment, cameras or whatever, anything else needed for that.
I will have to ask Brian about that
Okay.
and get back.
Nothing permanent.
Right.
Nothing that lasts
Right.
more than 3 years or whatever the,
Nothing that lasts more than maybe a
Right.
time frame of
Right.
what, okay.
right?
Okay.
So like a laptop, for example, is one that I
Yeah,
have looked into, that's a no.
Okay.
So I'd say the same would be true.
Yes,
yeah,
This kind of equipment.
okay.
yeah. But
Unless
one-
you were like renting equipment
Right.
Yes.
or
yeah.
rental.
Renting
If you
equipment.
rent equipment, yeah. then-
Like a one-off.
Yeah,
Like if you were maybe like trying to get funding for that equipment and used like rental equipment 1 year while you're waiting to purchase your own,
Okay,
might be a loophole for that.
okay, thank you. That's helpful.
any other questions? All right. That's all for me.
Is that all that you have for us? Okay. So then next on our agenda is upcoming important dates, which is our next CODA meeting on May 5th. Did anybody have anything else that they wanted to bring up, mention, share today? Okay, well then we will end our very quick meeting and we will adjourn